Welcome in. I'm Prim Saripapat. Well, there is a lot of optimism surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals team. Last year, they proved they were legitimate, making the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. But will this season be the year they can actually win a playoff game, something they haven't done since 1990? Joining us over the phone to break it down for us is AFC North blogger for ESPN.com, Jamison Hensley. So, Jamison, what is the X factor, their biggest area of concern heading into this season?
Well, I think there's a couple of them, and even though I think this team is well built and is in good position to do a lot of great things this year, I still think they have to worry a little bit about the quarterback position with Andy Dalton. I think he has proven that he can get them to the playoffs. Whether he can get them past that hurdle, I think, is the big question in people's mind. And then also defensively, I think there are some concerns. They have a good pass rush, but as far as the linebacking core, especially in the middle with Ray Maluga, he struggled at times last year. And I think for them, they really need a good season out of him to really put things together as far as defensively.
And you talk about Andy Dalton. He's entering his third NFL season, and through the first two seasons, he has shown that he can do it. Has thrown for 47 touchdowns, but in the postseason, as you have mentioned in some of your articles, one you titled "Andy Dalton, Familiarity Breeds Confidence." So, do you think he's getting to the point where he is getting some of that confidence?
I think we'll find out once the postseason begins, and because in the regular season, as you pointed out, he does very well. I mean, he gets them. It gets points up on the board. Looks like he has poise in the pocket, but in the postseason, it looks like you're just seeing a totally different quarterback. In two postseason games, he had 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. When you look at why the Cincinnati Bengals have lost in the playoffs, a big reason is the play of Andy Dalton, and he accepts the responsibility. And I think once we get to the postseason, I think we'll really figure out this year whether Andy Dalton is going to be a good quarterback or if he's going to be a great one.
They are, however, the trendy pick to win the AFC North, though. Where do you see them ending up?
I do think it's going to be between the Bengals and the Ravens this year. And I think a lot of people forget that the Bengals finished with the same record as the Ravens last year. And as everybody knows, the Ravens went on to win the Super Bowl because they were the team that got hot. The Bengals, unlike the Ravens, kept pretty much everybody from last season's team. So you have a team that's intact that went to the playoffs for back-to-back seasons. So there is a lot of confidence in Cincinnati. But when I was out there visiting the Bengals, you also got a sense that they really do want something more. That the first couple seasons, the goal was to get to the playoffs because that's something that the Bengals have not frequently done. But I think now they're not satisfied. They want to get that playoff win and maybe even a little bit more this year.
One final question, Jamison. They are the team that is featured in this year's HBO's Hard Knocks. Sometimes that can be a distraction, but have you got any sense on whether or not the team enjoyed the process or if we're going to eventually see something that's really interesting this season?
I think a lot of the Bengals are enjoying it. A guy like James Harrison, who is not considered very media-friendly or outgoing, I don't think he really enjoys the process, but I think Coach Marvin Lewis, one of the reasons that he wanted to have Hard Knocks and those cameras around is because in primetime games and in playoffs, the Bengals really just haven't shown that they're ready to step up to the national spotlight. And I think he wanted these cameras around to kind of get them used to being a team under the microscope. And I think through this training camp, they're learning the plays, they're getting some camaraderie in the locker room, but I think by having Hard Knocks in there, they're also learning that to be a good team, they're going to have to handle the pressure of people watching them.